For tourists visiting Ontario from the US or Europe or even other parts of Canada for that matter, this province surely comes across as a really weird, really prudish place when it comes to buying alcohol. Stroll into a convenience store and ask for a six-pack and your choice boils down to Coke or Pepsi, certainly not Bud or Blue. No sir, you see, Ontarians, they just aren't mature enough for such liquor liberation. Well, not all Ontarians, mind you, should you happen to reside in a small community, in other words, a town that isn't big enough to sustain Ontario's two-headed booze monopoly leviathans, the LCBO and the beer store. Oh, you can buy beer at a variety store in that Ontario town, all right, and wine, and yeah, even the hard stuff. But when the business case doesn't make sense for the monopolists, suddenly the ostensible policy reason for maintaining a booze monopoly, and that would be that good old chestnut known as social responsibility, well, social responsibility gets flushed down the toilet like so much skunky lager, which is why you can indeed buy alcohol at so-called agency stores in more than 200 Ontario small towns. But now the clamor has risen to free our beer across the province by allowing sales at all convenience stores. And better yet, there is finally some political will to do so when it comes to Queen's Park. And why not? How is an Ontarian who resides in, say, tiny Beaton or Lefroy somehow more responsible than an Ontarian residing in Toronto or London or Windsor? Like I said, the liquor legislation, it's so weird, while the liquor regulations, they don't make any sense other than to perpetuate liquor monopolies. All of which is why the Doug Ford PCs are embracing his oft-repeated mantra that Ontario is once again open for business because they're planning to put beer in the corner stores. It's win-win. Consumers receive more choice and better service, while the private sector retailers, for a change, receive a shot in the arm. But alas, the beer store, which is controlled by foreign multinational beverage leviathans, they're fighting back by brewing up, well, fear tactics. Check out this ad currently running.
Glenn Howard here. I'm a proud beer store manager, one of 7,000 hardworking employees. There's been a lot of talk lately about putting beer in the corner stores. So let's talk about the beer store. We keep prices down with our efficient distribution system. We check IDs, keeping beer out of the hands of minors. We take back and recycle 87% of beer containers sold in Ontario. And we love what we do. I'm proud to say when it comes to selling beer, the beer store does it the best.
You know, I especially like the part about checking ID, as if to suggest that convenience store operators would choose not to do so in pursuit of the almighty buck. Yet C-stores sell a wide range of age-restricted products, from tobacco and lottery tickets to fireworks and adult magazines, and amazingly, society still somehow continues to function. Furthermore, the Ontario Convenience Stores Association notes that recent data indicates that compared to the beer store and the LCBO, the convenience store channel has the highest pass rate of government age check inspections at 96.2%. Meanwhile, a Statopex field marketing report from 2011 indicates that the beer store pass rate on age check inspections was only 80.7%, and the government-owned and operated LCBO was dead last with only a 74.6% pass rate. So much for that ludicrous social responsibility argument. But at least this recent beer store ad campaign doesn't descend into smearing the reputations of hardworking convenience store entrepreneurs. Remember this odious propaganda piece 5 years ago when the idea of beer going into corner stores was also in the news cycle?
Of course they're good kids, but they are still kids. So what if we made it easier to get alcohol?
Hey, boys. Yo. Whoa, look at this now. 54.
Got it.
There you go, boys. Have fun tonight, boys.
Alcohol in convenience stores? It's just not right for our kids. Learn more at ontariobeerfacts.ca.
Yeah, so the ad depicts the convenience store operator as a complete sleazeball, enabling youth to get totally wasted, even though the actual hard data indicates that it is the convenience store operators who do a far better job checking ID and refusing sales to minors than those employed at the beer store. But to paraphrase Tina Turner, what's facts got to do with it? Another thing to consider, the idea of buying a six-pack is not merely the desire of PC leader Doug Ford, but rather so many Ontarians who are fed up with being treated like infants when it comes to alcohol. Indeed, 4 years ago, a petition entitled Free Our Beer boasted more than 400,000 signatures, the single largest petition ever submitted to the Ontario legislature in the province's history. And yet the mighty beer store would like you to believe that if Little John's convenience store is given the opportunity to sell suds, that the beer store chain will entirely implode and that 7,000 employees will be thrown out of work. Really? If that's truly the case, if the beer store's business model is so utterly fragile that even a teeny tiny amount of competition will make for a death blow, then perhaps this foreign-owned corporation doesn't really deserve to exist in the first place. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, the Rebel has a new app. Please download that app and take the Rebel with you wherever you go.